What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. We're doing week 16 of my NFL predictions. Last week I went 9-7, putting my current record at 146, 73, and 1. And the curse wheel team is the Rams. And if you don't know what the curse wheel is, it's a wheel that curses a team, and it cursed the Rams this week. And ironically, the game tonight, Thursday night, is going to be the Rams and the Seahawks. And last week, the Rams were able to beat the Lions in a shootout. And the Seahawks almost lost to Phillip Rivers, but they were able to hang on and still get the victory. And this one's going to be a really good game. I think it could honestly go either way. But if you don't know anything about this channel, then you don't know that I usually just side with the curse wheel. And since it cursed the Rams, I'm going to be picking the Seahawks. And I think the Seahawks are going to win this game 27-24. And yeah, it's that curse wheel, and the Seahawks are at home. But I will say that the curse wheel was wrong last week, so we'll see if it's wrong 2 weeks in a row. As if so, maybe it's actually fake. But I'm going with the Seahawks here, 27-24. All right, moving to Saturday football. That's the thing now. The Eagles and the Commanders. The Eagles beat the Raiders 31-0 last week. And the Washington Commanders also played an NFC East team last week and beat the Giants, meaning they play the Eagles this week, Yeah, this game's pretty straightforward. The Eagles are a good team, and the Commanders are not a good team, so I just have the Eagles winning this game. I could see it being close because the Eagles have been in a bit of a slump, but they won last week, so I'm going with the Eagles 24-14. All right, and for Saturday night, we have the Packers taking on the Bears. You know that rivalry very well. The Broncos were able to beat the Packers last week, and the Bears, they beat the shit out of the Browns last week. And yeah, it's very unfortunate for the Packers because not only did they lose, they also lost Micah Parsons for the rest of the season. They had a bunch of players get banged up. Zach Tom, one of their offensive linemen, Christian Watson, and then the Bears, they are the opposite. They blew the Browns out and nothing really went wrong for them. And I don't know why the Packers are favored here. I really don't see why a team that's injured as much as they are going on the road is favored against a team with a better record than them. But yeah, I'm picking the Bears. I guess I'm picking the underdog, which feels weird to say. But yeah, I'm picking the Bears to win this one 34-27. All right, and for our first Sunday game, we have an NFC South match between the Bucs and the Panthers. Bucs lost to the Falcons last week, and the Panthers lost to the Saints last week. Those are two games that both these teams should have won. Like, this division just doesn't want to be won, because it has to be the Bucs or the Panthers, because Falcons and Saints are obviously eliminated. And I feel like neither one of these teams really wants to win. I mean, hell, I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends in a tie just because of how much neither team wants to win. But I'm not going to predict a tie because that would honestly be pretty insane. I think I'm going to have to go with the Panthers here just because usually they flip-flop in which weeks they're good and bad. And since they were bad last week, they're going to be good this week. And they're such a weird team. They're such a hard team to predict for, but I am going to pick them to win 17-10. All right, next up we have the Bills taking on the Browns. Last week, the Bills were able to come back down 21-0 against the Patriots and win. And the Browns lost to the Bears and looked pretty lifeless in that game, to be completely honest. And you'd think I would probably just pick the Bills and move on, but honestly, I have a feeling this game could be close. Not because the Bills are a bad team or anything. They're a great team. They could honestly be the 1 seed if things fall their way. But, like, the Browns, they have Quinshon Judkins, and the Bills have really struggled to stop the run. So I could honestly see the Browns just chewing a bunch of clock and trying to just run down the ball or run the ball as much as they can. And their defense is actually really good too. So I could see them slowing down Josh Allen. But I am not going to pick a crazy upset because there's no curse wheel and I still trust the Bills. So I'm picking the Bills to win this game 17-14. All right, next up we have the Chargers taking on the Cowboys. Last week the Chargers beat the Chiefs 16-13 and actually eliminated the Chiefs from playoff contention, and the Cowboys lost to 9 on Sunday Night Football. And yeah, that's just how it's been for the Cowboys because their offense looked great and their defense looked pretty bad. And I could see that being a problem here just because the Chargers, I mean, they're banged up, but at the same time, they have a pretty good offense, and their defense has actually been playing very well. So I could see them containing the Cowboys. And I'm honestly kind of surprised the Chargers are underdogs here. I mean, I know they're very injured right now, but they do have a better record. And I feel like they shouldn't be underdogs if they have this much of a better record. But, Vegas is Vegas. And I'm going to pick the Chargers just because they have a defense. And I think any team that has any kind of defense can kind of slow down the Cowboys enough. And even if you don't have the greatest offense, I mean, you can still score points on their defense. So, I think it's going to be a bit lower scoring than a lot of people probably think. I'm going to say Chargers win 23-20. But if I'm Broncos fan, so I would love to be wrong. All right, next up we have the Jets taking on the Saints. The Jets got pretty killed last week by the Jags, and the Saints were able to sweep the Panthers, which is pretty hilarious if you think about it. And let's see. I think the Saints are a better team. This game doesn't really matter that much, but I do think Tyler Shuck is a really good quarterback. Or not really good, but he's showing a lot of flashes, and I think he could honestly be the Saints guy of the future. And the Jets have Brady Cook or Tyrod Taylor, I don't know. But whoever it is not going to be better than Tyler Shuck, so I'm picking the Saints. They're at home. I think their roster's a little better too. They're playing more inspired football. So because of that, I think the Saints are going to win 27-13. All right, next up we have the Vikings taking on the Giants. The Vikings were able to beat the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football, and the Giants, they lost to the Commanders last week, and that could arguably be a good thing considering they actually hold the number 1 overall pick at this point in time. And, I mean, I think the Giants literally have nothing to play for. I mean, I think it's proven that Jackson Dart's the guy, but he needs help, and he doesn't have help because their team is so injured. And the Vikings, they don't know if J.J. McCarthy's the guy. He could be the guy. He could not be the guy. These last few games are kind of just a tryout, and I do think the Vikings are going to win this game. I mean, I don't really think a lot of people are going to watch this game, but I think the Vikings will win it 24-10. All right, next up we have the Chiefs taking on the Titans. And the Chiefs, they lost to the Chargers last week, and they lost Mahomes for the rest of the season. And the Titans, they unsurprisingly lost to the 49ers. But they did keep it somewhat competitive, so that's good. And what's not good is I just mentioned the Chiefs don't have Patrick Mahomes. They're already eliminated from the playoffs, which is honestly such a weird thing to see. I mean, I'm all for it. I mean, the Mahomes thing sucks, but I mean, I think we can all agree that it'll be nice to not have the Chiefs in the playoffs for once. And I really don't think this game matters. I mean, I'm going to pick the Chiefs just because I think they're a little bit better, even without Mahomes. But I mean, this game really doesn't matter. I'll say Chiefs win 2017. All right, next up we have the Bengals taking on the Dolphins. The Bengals, they honestly sucked last week. They looked so lifeless. The Dolphins, they also sucked, but they looked a little more like they had life. And the thing that's particularly bad about the Dolphins was Tua got benched because of that game. I don't know if it was just because of that game, but that was, I guess, the boiling point. They had the literal curse wheel helping them, and they still couldn't win. Yeah, both these teams, they really disappointed me last week, so I really don't care that much about this game. I guess since Tua's benched, I'll say that the Bengals win 26-14. Alright, and we got another game no one really gives a shit about. It's the Falcons and Cardinals. The Falcons, they beat the Bucs on Thursday Night Football last week, and the Cardinals, they got beat pretty bad by the Texans. And yeah, I could see this being competitive, but at the same time, I don't really see who cares about this. I'm going to say Falcons win just because they have a more talented roster. But both these teams are probably going to fire their head coaches at the end of the season. They're probably both going to have new quarterbacks, new starting quarterbacks. So, yeah, I'm going to take the Falcons 24-20. All right, and now we have an actual good game between the Jags and the Broncos. The Jags, they put belt to ass against the Jets last week, and the Broncos, they had a good game themselves against the Packers. And I will say the injuries the Packers suffered might have played a hand in why we were able to play as well as we did, but a win's a win, and that's just kind of who we are. We win, and people doubt it, but it's all right. And, I mean, yeah, this game could genuinely go either way. I wouldn't be shocked if either team won. I think it's going to be really close. I think Trevor Lawrence might put some strain on our defense, even though our defense is pretty good. But, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm obviously going with the Broncos. They're at home. They are favored. They're on an 11-game winning streak, which I never would have thought we would be on a winning streak this big this season. And I think we'll extend it to 12. And who knows, if we win this game and get lucky, we might clinch the 1 seed. But yeah, I have the Broncos winning 26-23. All right, we have another game that could actually be pretty good. We have the Steelers taking on the Lions. The Steelers won against the Dolphins and against the Curse Wheel on Monday Night Football. And the Lions, they lost to the Rams on Sunday afternoon football in a game that was a big shootout. And I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers were able to knock off the Lions. I mean, the Lions defense, which was a problem last year too, they're just so injured right now. And it's like, it's kind of a dumb excuse because I feel like you could say that about any team with a bad defense, but I feel like with the Lions, they just have such terrible injury luck when it comes to their defense. And the Steelers, I mean, I think there's something going on with TJ Watt. So maybe that is what the Curse Wheel had in store for them. I don't know. But hence, I do think this game is actually going to be really high scoring just because, I mean, there's just not going to be a lot of defense in my opinion, which is weird to say considering the Steelers have had a really good defense for years, but this year's just been different. So yeah, this game, I think it's going to be very high scoring, and I have the Lions winning 35-28. All right, next up we have the Raiders taking on the Texans. The Raiders, they got shut out by the Eagles last week in a get-right game for them. And the Texans, they blew out the Cardinals last week, and they've been rolling. And, yeah, I don't really see this game being close. I think, honestly, the best thing the Raiders can do is lose because they'll get a better draft pick. And the Texans obviously need to try and win and try and get that AFC South from the Jags. So we'll see what happens. And obviously, I'm picking the Texans. I think they're going to win this game with a score of 24-3. All right, next up, we have the Patriots taking on the Ravens. The Patriots, they lost to the Bills after blowing a 21-point lead against them, and the Ravens won 24-0 against the Bengals. And, yeah, this is actually a very intriguing game. I know usually I'll say something about the spread being weird with this because Ravens, despite being under by 4 games against the Patriots, they are favored by 3 points being at home. And honestly, I would not be shocked. I really wouldn't because the Ravens, you know, they looked really good on defense last week. And I think they could shut down Drake May and the Patriots if the Patriots have a bit of an off game. And we'll see what happens. And I mean, I think it's going to be actually really good game. I mean, normally I think this game would suck because it's a great team going up against a not so great team, but I mean, this is a very weird year, so anything can happen. But I am going to pick the Patriots to win this one 31-21. And finally, ending the week on Monday Night Football, we have the 49ers taking on the Colts. The 49ers were able to beat the Titans last week, and the Colts were unable to, despite a valiant effort, to beat the Seahawks as they lost that game. And, yeah, this is a game both teams kind of need it for different reasons. The 49ers need it to try and keep pace with the rest of their division, and the Colts need it just to even have a chance to make the playoffs.
So kind of different reasons. I could see it going either way. I mean, maybe Philip Rivers has another somewhat decent game and the Colts defense does really well. But I do think the 49ers are going to win just because I don't think the Colts are that good anymore without an actual quarterback. And no offense to Philip Rivers, but he is not really an actual quarterback per se. So because of that, I have the 49ers winning this game 24-13. And there you have it. Here are all the score predictions and all the teams that I think are going to win. It's kind of a weird part of the year where I feel like a lot of games are just either great team against really bad team or two bad teams, which, I mean, don't really make for the best games. But then you have the games where it's like they determine a lot. Like that Seahawks-Rams game on Thursday Night Football, honestly, is probably going to be one of the best games of the year. And same with the Broncos and Jags game. I think that game's going to be really good. I think the Chargers and Cowboys could be really good. I mean, I might get, you might get shit for this, but I could see the Panthers and Bucks game being good, even though both of those teams are, going through their own kind of thing. But yeah, it's great. It's almost playoff time, and I'm looking forward to it. And I will see you guys for my Week 17 power rankings after the Week 16 games have been played. And have a good NFL Sunday or NFL Saturday and Sunday, I guess. And make good decisions and all that so I can see all my next video and all that. So I'll see you guys later. Peace out.